Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my screen, guys? Okay, so let's proceed with today's class. So officially today, we'll start involving ourselves with the actual coding in web development. So most of us here, we already know what the website is and the use of a website. So different websites with different purpose in which they serve. So in case you've not watched the previous videos, kindly ensure you watch those videos because I'm not going to be going back to what I've said before, because every video, every new video we are going to be making, or every new class built on what we've learned in the previous classes. So let's proceed. So I made mention of text editors that you could use for web development. I gave you guys like 4 options, but my favorite out of all of them is Visual Studio Code and Sublime Text. So we'll be alternating it, but today I'm using Sublime Text. So just in case you don't have the text editors installed on your device, kindly ensure you do that. So as you can see here, I have Visual Studio Code here and Sublime Text. I already created the desktop shortcut. So let me launch Sublime Text. You guys. So when you launch Sublime Text, this text editor for the first time, this is what you are going to see. This is how the windows look like. But today we are strictly taking a class on HTML because for you to be a web developer, there are certain language or there are certain things you have to know. You can't rush from a beginner stage to an advanced stage overnight. So you learn some aspect of web development like bit by bit. So the first thing we're going to be learning is HTML, which is responsible for content and the structure of your website. So let me just bring up any website here. Which website am I able to use now? Use I don't know why I like using Amazon, but let's go to Amazon website. As you can see, I'll tell you how this web page is made. HTML is responsible for the content and the structure of your website. When I mean content, you see this all button here, today's due, customer service, registry, gift card, sale. You use HTML for writing those. And the meaning of HTML is hypertext markup language. You use HTML for doing that. Then CSS stands for cascading style sheets. That's what you use for the design, the color, the beautification of your website. Like I could make this customer service, this particular navigation menu, I could make it green. I could give it any color. Then you see all these, some of all these colors there, like this particular color here. Then you see the Amazon logo. Then as you can see the background of this, we ship over 45 million products around the world, the background blue. It's either you embed an image to the HTML page, or you could purely do that with HTML and CSS. Then let me just look for that. Then you see this footer here, this menu here. Instead of using black, you could give it any other color. So cascading style sheets is responsible for making your website beautiful, like giving it the colors and the appearance you see. That's the essence of CSS. While JavaScript is responsible for the functionality and the interactivity of your website. Like you see this pop-up notification and let me look for a better explanation for JavaScript for you guys. Like, let me just open anything here. Oh, that's where go to. You know, sometimes when you want to engage in a website, like you see some pop-up, some notification will just come up. Those are the work of JavaScript. So JavaScript is like programming your web page for your web page to be interactive. So aside HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, they're also going to be learning about framework that you use for front-end web development. Then after that, then you could now decide that you want to go into back-end development, but everything is in stages. So that's all for how the website is structured. then we are going to start with the actual work. So in case you are coding along as I'm doing this video, make sure you launch your text editor. In this case, for this class, I'm using Sublime Text, but you could use Visual Studio, you could use Atom, you could use brackets. You could even use Notepad for your text, for your HTML project. So for me, if I'm taking a class, I personally like putting all my work in a particular folder. So what we'll do first, we could create a folder. So just right click on your desktop, click on new, and click on folder. So you could give it any name. So let's just call this particular folder web development. So let me call it web development. So everything you are going to be doing, all the files you are going to be using in building a website, we'll make sure that we are keeping them inside this web development folder, because you don't just want to be saving all your files randomly on your desktop, because each file works in accordance and also in relationship to other files. So if I'm coding an HTML file, for instance, and I want to link it to a CSS file, I'll prefer, and it's also advisable, that everything is located in one location so that it will be easier for you to reference and it will be easier for you to manage your files. So you could give it any folder, you could give the folder any name. In this case, I'm using web development, but you could call it anything of your choice, any name of your choice. So go back to the Sublime Text. So what you now do now, you click on File. Don't forget, you click on this File menu here. Since we are working with a new file, this is the first time we're creating a file, you click on New File here. And the shortcut for creating a new file is Control-N if you are using Windows. But if you're using Mac, I think it's Command-N, Command button. But since we're using Windows, we give it, you can use Control+N and it will create a new file. So click on New File. But if you already, maybe let's say we've already opened a new file, or we've created a new file, let's say yesterday or a few days ago, and we want to continue working on the file, instead of creating a new file, all you just have to do is click on Open File and scroll to where you save the file, and you can continue working on the project. So what we'll do now, since it's a new file, we'll click on New File. Yeah. Then right now, as you can see, it's untitled. We've not named it yet. So what we'll do now, you save. You can use Control+S. As you can see, I use Control+S, or you can click on File here, and what you do, you click on Save. The shortcut for saving Sublime Text is Control+S. So Control+S here, and that particular folder I created of recent, which was web development folder, it's on my desktop. So I'll just navigate to web desktop here, and I'll look for web development. So you could search for it also here. So you can see here, it's here, web development. So web development, then I want to give it an extension name. So in this case, HTML, the file format or the extension for HTML file is what? HTML. So first of all, make sure that you are saving in the right folder. As you can see now, the web development folder we created, it is located here. So I could just double click on it. Then I'll give the file any name. So since this is our home page, it is recommended that you always save the name of your home page. That is the first file you are going to, let's say you go to facebook.com there, that's the home page. And it's usually nice that you save it, and it's recommended you save your home page as index.html. Then since it is an HTML document, you save it with .html extension. So .html, don't forget index.html. Some persons prefer to save that as default, default.html, but just for proper coding standard and proper naming convention, you just have to stick with the general rule of naming your home page, because sometimes you can start a project and another developer will want to continue with the project. So you just have to make make the life of the person that is coming on to take the project easier. So most times you are writing a code, you're not writing a code for yourself alone. You can also be writing code for other persons so that it will be easier for them to understand. So don't forget, you have to save it. That's the only way this text editor, Sublime Text, can know that this is an HTML document. If you are working with CSS, for example, it will be .css. If you are working with maybe Python, it will be .py. Don't forget. So HTML in this case, it's index.html. So what I'll do now, I'll save. So I've saved it as index.html. So let me minimize this now. Let me open this our web development folder. If I should open the web development folder, you can see the file here. the file is here. And don't forget, for you to open your this document, this HTML document, you need a web browser to open it. If you want to load it and if you want to render it and you want to see how it looks like, you can use a web browser. So currently the file is empty. So let me double click on it. You are not going to see anything, but just to let you know that it works. So if you double click on the file, you can see it opened using my Google Chrome, because I use Google Chrome as my default web browser. So if I'm using Firefox as my default web browser, it's going to Firefox go to open the file when I double click on it. So I'll just close it now. I'll close this as well. So I'll close this. So let's go back to our Sublime text here. So this is HTML. So I'm going to tell you guys what you have to do. You know, when you want to build a website, there's usually what we call an HTML boilerplate, boilerplate. It is a default set of codes that must be present on your HTML web page. So you could code everything from scratch, or a shortcut for doing that, you can just type HTML and hit the tab button and to bring up this particular HTML boilerplate. This boilerplate, it's mandatory and is a must. It must be present in your HTML file. Without these files, your HTML page will not render properly. I'm going to explain what each and every HTML element here does, but make sure you do that. So one way of doing it is that you could just type, let me cancel everything here, let me delete it. Just type, you could type everything from your head or from your scratch if you are both. Most times when you are coding, you just have to use the method that saves you a lot of time, faster, efficient, and to make sure that you are not stressed out as well. So you could just type HTML and hit the tab button, the tab key on your keyboard. If you hit the tab button, it's going to auto-complete everything for you. Sorry. So it's going to auto-complete everything for you. So I will explain what everything here does. So you see, starting from this doc type HTML all the way down to HTML here, it is what we call the document tree, HTML document tree. So your HTML document consists of everything here. It's called the HTML document tree. You must make sure that your HTML document consists of everything here. So since you are coding using HTML5, there's what we call doc type declaration. In this case, if you have started coding before HTML5, maybe you were using XHTML or HTML4, usually if you want to do this doc type declaration, the code is usually long, but you know, as technology progresses and as time goes, there are better and more efficient way to write code. So doc type.html, so let me break all these ones down. So our focus here, first of all, is this doc type HTML. So you could open an angle bracket, then exclamation mark, then doc type, then space HTML. What this code here does is that it tells your browser that you are strictly coding using HTML5. That's what that doc type HTML means. It means you are coding using HTML5. Then also, since it is an HTML document, let me isolate everything here. So I want to break so that it will be easier for you. Since an HTML, let me cut this off first of all. You must make sure that everything that you are doing as far as your web design is concerned, you must open an HTML tag and you also close an HTML tag. So this is what, in web development, is what we call HTML element. So HTML is also a name of an HTML element, and an HTML element consists of an opening tag and also a closing tag. This is an opening tag and this is a closing tag. How do you know? How can you differentiate an opening tag from a closing tag? As you can see here, an opening tag, first of all, it consists of an opening angle bracket here, this angle bracket, then HTML, then you close the angle bracket. Then a closing tag, after the opening angle bracket, there's a forward slash. That's the difference between both of them. This slash here, so let me highlight this for you guys. This slash here, this forward slash here, as you can see, this forward slash, this one here, that's what differentiates the opening tag from the closing tag. So an HTML element consists of an opening tag and also a closing tag. Then in between the opening tag and the closing tag is what we know as the HTML content. You understand? So I'll paste back what I removed initially. So I'm just trying to explain everything for you so that you know, you get the general breakdown of how everything works. So make sure that the document consists of this HTML opening tag and also this HTML closing tag. Then inside the HTML opening and closing tag, you have the head element, HEAD. Then the head element also consists of the opening head element, HEAD, and also the closing head element. The difference between the opening head element and the closing head element is this / after the first angle bracket. Yes. So after the head element, there's also another element known as the body. No, everything that is being rendered on the browser, it's what is contained inside the body. You understand? Like when we went to this, let me open Amazon again here. Let me open the Amazon website for you guys so you guys to see. Everything that is being displayed on this web page now currently, it's inside the body of the HTML web page. Yes. So anything I'm doing here. So let me just quickly show you guys something. I'm going to explain everything, but I just want to make sure that you grasp the fundamental. It is very important. It is very important that you grab the fundamental. So let me just say, okay, this is H1, and let me call this another one, another H1 here. So I could say, let me just use any particular text. Welcome to today's class. Let me save this. Watch you. I just type welcome to today's class. Let me save it there. Let me go and open it on the web browser. Let me open our web development project. Can you see this, guys? Welcome to today's class. Everything that is going to be rendered on the web browser must be inside the body element. So hope that is clear. So let's proceed with what we were doing before. Then don't forget the doc type declaration. This doc type is telling your browser that we are strictly coding using HTML5. Then you have to create the HTML opening tag and also the HTML closing tag. Then after doing that, you have to create the head element, the opening head element and the closing head element. So the head here and also another head here, but the difference between the head, the opening tag and the closing tag is that the closing tag has a / after the opening angle brackets. So let me remove this for now. So don't forget, everything that is going to be displayed on your web browser must be coded inside body tag, the body element, and the body element start from here, this body element, this body opening tag, and also this body closing tag. And the closing tag, you can see that the closing tag has a / after the opening angle bracket here. So let me remove this for now. Let me remove this. I'm going to explain everything, but I just want to make sure that you understand how everything is being built up. You understand? So another thing I'm going to tell you guys is what known as the meta tag. You see, like what I did before when I added the H1 tag inside the body element. Everything that is going to be displayed on this head element here, you see from this HEAD, this head, the opening head element and the close element. As you can see, you have some different meta tag here. You have the meta character set. In this case, we are using UTF-8. Then also another meta tag, the meta name viewport, then the contents. I will explain what everything here, but I'm just trying to tell you that everything is going to be displayed on the body element. Everything that is going to be coded inside the body element is what is going to be displayed on your web browser when you launch the website or when you launch the HTML page. You understand? But the head element contains information that your browser will understand. You understand? So first of all, now let me use this as a case study. There are different character sets. UTF-8 is one of the most popular. UTF-8 is a character set whereby you see your symbols, your art symbol, your trademark, every symbol that you see on your website, they are usually coded using a special character set. In this case, we are using UTF-8. Another character set is also known as Unicode naming convention. But for this class and using HTML5, we are strictly focusing on UTF-8. You have to specify it on your HTML code so that your browser will know that everything I'm doing on this web page, render it using UTF-8. So let me just quickly show you guys what's UTF-8. character sets look like. So it's 8 characters so that you guys should see. So as you can see here, this exclamation mark. For example, now, if I should add an exclamation mark on the web page I'm doing, or if I'm adding this percentage sign or this and sign or 01 or / or plus minus and the rest, how will the browser know that this is what I want you to render for me? That's why you have to specify that I'm strictly coding using the UTF-8 character set. Then also, there are other meta tags. As time goes on, I'm going to introduce you guys to other meta tags, but for now, I just want to explain the basics for you so that you know that these are the basic building block of your HTML website. You understand? So there you can, as you can also see here, there's a title element here. So let me explain what the title element does. As you can see now, if you open your web browser, can you see this Unicode / UTF-8 character table? Anything that you write inside the title element is what is going to be displayed here. You understand? As you can see now, this Amazon.com, then spend less, smile. This is what was specified on the title element. That's why it is being shown here. So let us do something like that now. On this title element now, let me just write 300 DOC, meaning 300 days of code. So let me save it now. Before I reload this page, as you can see, since I have not reloaded this page yet, you can see, as you can see on the browser tab here, is showing index.html. But now I've added a text to this title element and I've saved. Always make sure that you save so that it will update. So once you save, instead of seeing this index.html, you are going to see 300 DOC. So let me reload now. Can you see these guys now? 300 DOC. So they are not rendered on the browser, on the web, on the body of the web page. It is what you tell, it's how the browser or our search engines can be able to understand what the web page is all about. Those are the things that you put on the head tag. You see the head element here, from starting from here all the way down to this place. There are things that you have to add to the head element here, and they include the meta tag. Example, different meta tag is like the character set, the name, and all that. Then also the title of your web page must also go under the head element here. You understand? So after coding the head element, the next thing you have to specify is the body of your HTML web page. So I told you guys earlier on, everything that you want to display on your web page must be inside the body, like from here, starting from this opening tag of the body element to this closing tag. And I will repeat myself. To differentiate the opening tag from the closing tag, you just have to make sure that there's a / after the opening angle brackets. Then this is the name of the element. Body is the name of the element. Just the way we have HTML as the element name, head as the element name, body also as the element name. You understand? So make sure that everything that you want your browser to display on the web page is being coded in between body elements. You understand? So when you read, maybe as time goes on, when you start writing like code that has thousands of or millions of lines of code, maybe this particular web page has thousands and millions of all this body and HTML, they will be way at the bottom. You won't see them, but just know that they are there, they exist, or you have to do that, because if you don't do it, your web page would load. You understand? What will happen, for example, now, if I should delete this HTML, let me remove this now. And let me save it, and let's render this page. Let me open below this page and let's see what will happen. Okay, let me just add something so that you see what I'm talking about. Let me just add, I think, let me add each one. I'm just using this for illustration purpose. Welcome. Let me save it. Then let me reload. It showed welcome, but you are going to run into issues if all your tags are not complete. Yes, you specified an opening tag here, HTML. You just have to make sure that you close your HTML tag. Because if you don't do that, as time goes on, when you start linking other resources to your home page, in this case, which is the index.html, you are going to run into issue. The fact that it works doesn't mean it is the correct thing to do. Please don't do that. Avoid it at all costs, because you could run into trouble and you could put a lot of persons at risk. Just imagine a little error made by Facebook or Instagram or Google. Just a little bug and a little error can cost a lot of havoc. So always make sure that you follow all the proper rules of building a website. So there. Then another thing that we have to, because of time, so let me just quickly introduce another HTML element for you guys. So there's what we call the heading element. And the heading element ranges from H1 to H6. So I'm going to do that now. So let's do that now. And then I'm going to show you guys how it works. So I'll tell you the use of it. And so this is H1. So let me just copy this and paste it. So this H2. I'll call this H2. I'll call this H3, all the way down towards H6. Then we are going to write something inside so that you guys will actually see how it functions and the role it plays when building a website. So after this class, you now have basic idea of how websites, like how they are being built. So I'll call this H5. Don't forget to always make sure that you close your tag. But there's also what they call self-enclosing tag. There are some HTML elements that you don't need a closing tag for it, but I'm going to also show you guys what those particular elements. They are not much, but they can work properly even without closing them. So I'll call this H6. So let me just add something here. Welcome. So let me just copy this. I think we have 10 minutes left. So after that, I have to save. So just Control S and let me reload this web page. As you can see here, those H1 to H6, they are strictly for headings. And you know, when you're formatting a text, a document, there are different hierarchy of heading. For example, now, if you are starting a new document, like you are reading a textbook, you see that there are some headings that are bigger or they have a larger font than others. So you just have to know when to use them. So it ranges from H1 to H6. If you like, try H7, it won't work. But just know that HTML5 and normal HTML convention, it starts from H1 to H6. H1 standing for heading 1, H2 heading 2, H3 heading 3, H4 heading 4, H5 heading 5, and H6 heading 6. You understand? So know when to use them. So I'll tell you guys maybe from next class when to use each and every one of them. But if you are starting a web document, it's usually recommend that the first heading always take H1. That's how you tell the web page that, okay, this is my title. So I could just, instead of using welcome here, I could say sorry, I was looking outside. Make sure it's in between the opening and the closing title. So I could say this is my first web page, save it, then I'll reload. You can see now my first web page. You can see the font size is bigger than others. You understand? So just make sure that you know what you are doing and don't omit anything. And when I made mention of before that there are some tags that are self-enclosing, like you don't have to to add this closing tag, that is the opening bracket, the forward slash, and the name of the HTML element. But in this case, for H1 to H6, you have to close them. When you open the tag, you have to close the tag. So that's where we'll stop for today's class due to time. And I'll open I will meet you guys so that if you have any question concerning what we've discussed so far, you can ask me. And also go back and rewatch this video and practice what we've learned today. So let me unmute you guys so that you guys can ask me questions. So if you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask me the question. So make sure you practice everything we did today so that you become familiar with it. Yeah, because I was teaching, you can add E to your welcome and save. So if you have any question, kindly unmute yourself and ask me the question, please.
Okay. Thanks for the lecture. My question is,
please be audible. I can't hear you.
Okay, I said my question is, when you are actually starting the HTML as the typing of the HTML, when you typed it, I didn't get what you said you actually press so that the other ones will come out automatically.
Did you start? Did you start with us from the beginning of the class?
Yes. I started with you.
So when you type the HTML, you press the tab key, T-A-B, is at the top left of your keyboard, tab.
Okay, sir.
Type it and it will automatically bring out the starting codes that you need for your HTML document.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So any other person? If you have a question, kindly ask. You don't ask me, I'll ask you. Okay, let me look for somebody. Yeah, what am I going to ask now? Esa Ima, yes, unmute yourself. I know you are there. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing today?
I did not start with you guys, so I joined not too long, but I will try and watch the video and get up to date with class.
Okay. Yeah. That's nice. So make sure after the class you rewatch the video and practice everything you've done. All right. So is there another person that have a question to ask? We have 4 minutes, 55 seconds left. Okay, let me ask somebody. Amarachi Ofonedu. Pardon my pronunciation if I'm wrong, but Amarachi, unmute yourself, please. I know there are 2 Amarachi here. I know that in came Jika, Amend just cut. So I said Amarachi. Hey, say Jesus. I said, they don't call me. Or you're not the one. It's Ofonedu Amarachi. So Amarachi Ofonedu, please unmute yourself. You guys don't ask me questions. I'm going to be asking you guys questions.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Look at your voice. How are you doing?
I am fine.
So, did you start with the class? Like, did you start with us at the beginning of the class?
No, I did not, but
okay, so...
No, I did not.
So, from everything we've discussed so far, do you understand, or is there any part that you don't understand?
Because I didn't start from the beginning, I don't want to ask the question that you've already said, so I'll just rewatch the video. I joined the class when you were talking about this title.
Okay. So make sure you, after this class, I'm going to send the recorded video to the Discord server. Hope you are on the Discord server.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so make sure you go back and watch it. Okay, I started recording class from the beginning, so make sure you watch it. So tomorrow we are going to continue from where we stopped. You understand? So,
yes, sir.
All right. So, is there another person?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we have 2 minutes.
Sorry.
Okay,
You
okay.
said
Hassan.
tomorrow. Yes. You said
Sorry,
tomorrow.
our
Is
next
it that
class should be on Monday, right?
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
today is Friday. So make sure you practice. And if you've not watched everything we discussed from the beginning of the 300 days of code, make sure you watch everything, because every new class is going to build on what we've done before. So you have a question?
No. I just want to confirm that.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you.
no problem. So Daffy, yes. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, Ralph, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, I can hear you.
Okay, thanks for today's lecture.
Okay.
Okay, my question is, I didn't quite get the character set. What is it all about? I didn't
Okay.
quite get what you said at that point, yeah.
Okay.
Character set.
Just see a character set as a list of characters, like your alphabets, your symbols, your exclamation mark, everything that you know of, like your percentage sign. So that character set, there are different types of character sets. UTF-8 is one of them. Unicode, UNICODE is one of them. So UTF-8, the reason why we are using UTF-8 is because it's a character set that contains every possible character that is going to be in our HTML document. You understand? That's why we are specifying that we want this HTML document to be rendered using the UTF-8 character set. You understand? You could browse on your own and check different character sets, but the most popular of them is the UTF-8 and the Unicode character set. If, for example, now I add maybe @ symbol or trademark symbol, if I use the wrong character set, if I should load that page on the web browser, it's going to render the @ symbol as something different. The web browser won't understand that that's supposed to be maybe a @ symbol or copyright symbol or percentage symbol. But if you're using UTF-8, your web browser is going to render it properly. You understand? So you have to specify the character set you are going to use for the web page on the head section of your web document. So is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think we have less than 40 seconds left. So that will be all for today's class. If you have any question and any clarification, send it to the Telegram or the Discord server, and see you guys next week. And also make sure you practice everything you've done so far. So have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.